none other than Brendan Grace. Brendan, good afternoon and welcome to the
Pat,
programme.
thank you very, very much.
I'm delighted to see you.
I'm thrilled to see it, and I'm sure lots of people here in this gracious building have welcomed you to Newstalk
with open arms.
and I hope you got my card.
I did. Thank you very much, Brendan. I
Well,
appreciate
I'm
it.
not going to welcome you to Newstalk.
No,
I'm going to welcome you to the Liberties.
you're home.
No, this is Newstalk.
Yeah. You were born how
I
far
was
away?
born very, very close. Diggs Lane, where Newstalk is situated, one side of the lane is part of the Liberties.
One side.
And yeah, like this side.
The side we're on at the
It's
moment.
only the width of a truck, but the other side is posh. But this is part of the Liberties. So you now are a Liberty
I'm
boy.
broadcasting from the Liberties.
You are, and you're like Sil Fox, Sonny Knowles, Tony Kenny, and of course Imelda May.
A Liberties
And,
girl.
All the Liberties people.
Yeah. Well,
So
don't forget, I grew up not far from the place anyway, over by the Phoenix Park. So I know
Oh,
the
that's
area
right.
very well. I know that.
Yes.
And all the hinterland around James Street Church. I was talking to Terry Woods yesterday.
Yeah.
If you remember Terry and Gay Woods and
do, of
Sweeney's
course.
Men. Well, Terry, the first time I ever clapped eyes on him, he was a very cool dude. And he used to go to Mass in St. James's Church in Jambo. On a
Jambo.
Sunday morning. That's the first time I ever
Well, do
saw
you
him.
know that yesterday, it's a coincidence, yesterday on Facebook, there was a photograph of the corner of Eklund Street and James Street, and it was taken at an angle. And of course, Jim Lockhart,
Yeah, Horselips.
Jim
yeah.
Horselips. Well, I'm trying to get this to him, for him to, because his dad's butcher shop, where he lived, is in this photograph.
This city gets smaller and smaller.
It's
doesn't
a
it?
tiny, tiny city. But my life is full of coincidences anyway.
Anyway, Brendan, it's been a long career, but I remember the first time I clapped eyes on you. You were not a stand-up comedian. You
No.
were a member of a band called the Ginger Men.
That's right.
But the funny thing was, I was waiting for the music, but you never shut up. You told the gags.
Yes. I was a clown. You see, my birth date is April 1st.
You're not serious.
Yeah. You see, what you've just said, most people don't believe me. Because for a comedian to be born on April Fool's Day doesn't, it's...
It's a gag. You're
it's a
waiting for
gag.
the punchline.
Yeah. Well, I was born on April 1st, and that's perhaps the reason. But I remember yourself. I remember those days too. And I hope Dennis O'Brien is listening, because I'm going to tell him something, that not only has he got a wonderful broadcaster in Pat Kenny, but he has a songwriter.
That was in the old days, Brendan.
Tom Kelly was my manager for many years. Tom Kelly and Brian has been my manager, and they never knew me to sing this song that you wrote. So Ireland, have a listen. They met one morning when the moon was full low. His name was Jack and hers was Jill-O. Jack said, I loved you and I always will. Oh. What's the next bit? Day by day by day by day by day. Now, did you write that?
And I did. I wrote
No.
that. And I also went on to present a program called Day by Day. Which
Oh, mother of God. See, loads of coincidences.
But anyway, the transition from being the singer out front, because you have a lovely voice and you could have made it
Thank you.
as a recording star, never mind, and you had many hit records. But what happened was the songs got sparser and sparser, and your links between the songs got longer and longer.
They did, yes. Well, I was with the Gingermen. Paul Malone, of course, is with the Gingermen. Des Gillette, Des Redmond and John Gillette were the other three members. And we were on the scene in Dublin in all the folk clubs. Do you remember the Navanove Folk Club, the Old Triangle in Abbey Street, the Coffee Kitchen, the Universal, and those clubs were where you performed FOC, free of charge, and there was no drink. You just got coffee or tea or maybe a glass of milk and a sandwich.
But that's how you evolved into a comedian. And when did you create Bottler?
Bottler would have been created in, I have to think about it, but I reckon in 1971. I reckon Bottler was created. He's 42. And he was a Dublin character.
based on songs and stories, heroes of renown, the past and tales and glories that once was Dublin town. The hallowed halls and houses.
Dublin in the rare old
Dublin
times.
in the rare old times. Pete St. John, of course, who's listening, I'm sure. Yes, I'm a Dubliner, true and true. I used to work in this street. I worked in Simpsons of Drury Street.
Which is just literally
Just
a
down there,
continuation.
and I worked on Brown and Olin's in Dawson Street. So I used to know this area very, very well.
Now, you also sued Charlie Haughey.
That's right.
What happened?
Well, it was around 1969, and I had a Honda 90, like a lot of us had. Well, a lot of us had Honda 50s,
I had
but I
a
had a
Honda
Honda
50,
90. I was posh, and I was going across Abbey Street one day at 3:00 to do an interview for a job at sea with Irish Shipping. And as I drove the bike down Abbey Street, the corporation were on strike at the time, and the army were helping out to do the fire and ambulance service. And an army ambulance came speeding out of a side street, coming from Cleary's, with a woman who had fainted or something, and they were bringing her to Jervis Street, and bang, straight into me going down Abbey Street. And apart from that, the coincidence is that my dear mother, Lord rest her soul, was actually in John's Lane